Hey there, and welcome to Large Format Friday. I'm your host, Matt Marrash. If you're new to the large format photographic process or considering trying it, go ahead and get subscribed because every other Friday, we're gonna be here and we're gonna be chatting about something large format. We hit a really big milestone last week, and I wanna acknowledge it because it's thanks to every one of you that's checking out the channel. We hit 15K subscribers, which is a number that I couldn't even fathom when I started this whole journey in lockdown back in 2020. So thank you so much to everybody who's tuned in, subscribed, become an LFF sustaining member, all of that stuff, writing comments, sending in emails. And I wanted to dedicate today's episode as a special thank you to everybody who's taken time to write into the show and take that extra leap forward and send something in. If you didn't know, LFF has an inbox that you can send physical letters, prints, whatever to, and that's at P.O. Box 44684, Columbus, Ohio 43204, USA. So that's if you wanted to send something in, handwritten thank you, prints, whatever. And I try to acknowledge every single one of those, and it's been a while. There's been quite a backlog of stuff. So I wanted to talk about that and share them in chronological order here today. So earlier this year, I was playing around with a loaner Fujifilm G617 courtesy of Midwest Photo, and while I was there, some folks mentioned, hey, you gonna do some more medium format on the channel? And I will, but we also had an LFF viewer over in Canada, Mr. Gaetan Allard, who said, oh, I have a way to shoot 617 without using an expensive adapter back on my camera. So he even sent in a version of what he uses on his 4x5 camera, which is one of these. This is what's known as a Split Darkslide. This is a really nice all-metal construction one, and as you can see, when you take out your normal 4x5 Darkslide, you would replace this Darkslide in there, and the very center of the frame is going to give you a really nice mask at the film plane, so it's nice and sharp, and give you a 617 panoramic image on a piece of 4x5 film. Now, of course, there's upsides and downsides. The more expensive 6x17 adapters can be hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars for a 4x5 camera, whereas this costs an extra Darkslide and a little bit of tooling, so you could either grind it in, file it in, snip it in, whatever, and cut that down. You could also use ABS plastic, which is what a lot of Darkslides are made of, but this is really nice and it's gonna give you a nice, sharp, crisp line. But you're gonna have to use a whole piece of 4x5 film. So if you plan on doing this a lot, maybe a roll film adapter back would make more sense, but if you're just doing onesies and twosies, this is a great way to do it. Would you guys like to see a whole episode about using Split Darkslide on large format? Let me know down below in the comments. And Gaetan, thank you so much for sending this in. I'm so surprised it made it here in an envelope unscathed, so thanks for packing it well. Another product I received months back that I've been using in the background but haven't shown here on the channel yet because I'm not at that point where I feel super confident with the tools yet and explaining it in a video form is this awesome little tool from longtime LFF supporter Derek Konisberg of Dektronics. He has this new product that he launched back in May called the Printazlier. This is a compact handheld densitometer that plugs in with a USB Type-C connection right into a computer, and it is a compact transmission and reflective densitometer. This means that it has the ability to read the density either reflected or transmitted through a negative or reflected off of a print to tell you how much dynamic range those materials have. It's a very, very useful tool for when someone is calibrating their negatives and trying to get a deeper insight into their process. How's my developing? How's my printing? Can I eke more information out of there? Now there is kind of a line where you can be, more on the artsy side of things and like, why would I use this? Or on the very technical side of things where you're living and dying by the values that this produces. So I want to talk more about this here on the channel. If you want to see more of that, be sure to get subscribed. And there's going to be more dedicated segments that are darkroom focused where I introduce something like this. Following the gatekeeping episode earlier this summer, a lot of photographers came out against gatekeeping and said, look, this is what I'm doing to make sure information is open and I'm welcoming to new folks in the LF process, and I was so happy to see that. And some other photographers reached out even further, and others even said, hey, I think I've done this, and thank you so much for having the vulnerability to say, hey, how can I help? What can I do to make things easier for the next generation, which was awesome. And a photographer that went even above and beyond that was photographer Shane Balkowicz. He reached out and said, I love the message here. I've experienced some gatekeeping personally in these different communities, and I wanted to show my appreciation. And I thought, okay, he's gonna send like a letter or a print. No, he sent like the whole kit and caboodle. So not only did I receive some cool postcards about his business, he also sent some limited edition signed prints, including one that I was really, really happy to see. I remember when he shot this back in 2021, and it just has a really powerful impact, and it's printed on a great stock. In addition to all that, he even sent in a copy of his second volume of Native American portraits, which just gorgeous wet plate photography. If you're not familiar with Shane's work, I'm going to put a link in the description below to his nostalgic glass studio. And oh my goodness, there's just so much good stuff in this book. It's personalized. So Shane, thank you so much. And I want to take you up on that offer. If you want to see an episode from the Nostalgic Glass Studio, let me know down below in the comments. Another cool thing that happened earlier this summer was I went to Photostock 2022. And while I was there at Photostock, photographer Francis Fullam brought his massive 20 by 24 inch Richard Ritter camera, which was awesome. It was also like lighter than my 8 by 10, so it was a really cool camera. But he let me pose for not one, but two 20 by 24 portraits. And following Photostock, he was like, hey, I got those negatives. Do you want some prints? And like, crazy. So a few weeks after Photostock, this giant tube showed up at my doorstop, and here's what we ended up with. So I got a really, really awesome handwritten letter from Francis, so thank you so much. And yes, in answer to your question there, Francis, these prints look great. These are fiber prints, so we're not talking just like any old whatever print. 20 by 24 inch fiber black and white contact prints. Now, subject matter wise, there's not too much we can do with the subject matter. He is who he is. But man, I love a good contact print, and the sharpness on these is insane. You know, it's one thing to be able to like look up on an 8 by 10 or even a 12 by 20 contact print. This is easily the largest contact print I've ever received. These are going to be well preserved in the LFF archives. I don't know if I'm going to often have these on display because that feels, yeah. I don't know if I want this guy greeting me additionally in the morning. It's already bad enough I have to see this. But Francis, what can I say? Keep up the great work. The camera was awesome. Thank you for taking the time and additionally making those prints. I know how the ULF process can slow everything down, so I really, really appreciate it. So a few weeks after I got those prints in from Francis, I also had a longtime LFF viewer, Mr. Mike Harmon, reach out and say, hey, I'm gonna be back visiting friends and family in the United States. Is it all right if I stop by and meet up? So we hung out, we got some lunch, and he even brought one of the very first darkroom prints he's made in over 20 years. So he brought in this enlarged 8 by 10 glossy prints. Great job on the black and white. And I would say for 20 years, yeah, you're off to a fantastic start. So after Mike had started watching this very channel, it got him excited about getting back into black and white photography, medium and large format, and eventually got him back into the darkroom and printing negatives that he shot, developed, and now has printed by hand. It's a pretty awesome process, and that's the whole reason this channel is around. It's to inspire, inform, really help folks get going and get jazzed about the large format photographic process. So Mike, thank you so much. Thanks for being an awesome host, and thanks for the print. I went the same day to check the LFF inbox, and there was a package this time from Mr. John Brewer over in the UK. And John sent quite a few things. He sent a beautifully typed letter, as well as this stunning alternative photographic process print. So this is a gum bichromate print. So gum bichromate is an alternative photographic process where you, the photographer, get to control the individual pigments. It's a combination of gum arabic and a sensitizer, usually a dichromate or bichromate. And the more layers of gum that you put on a print, the deeper the depth of colors you get, and if you start mixing colors like CYMK, you can start to get full color prints after multiple printings. This is a process that I haven't tackled. I did try carbon about a decade ago, and I haven't really stuck with it because it takes a lot of time. But John, thank you so much. This print with 5 layers of gum looks gorgeous. It looks better to my eye than even like a toned like a T-tone cyanotype. It's just got that right color and the green works perfect for it. So if you want to see more alternative photographic process on the channel, let me know down below. But John, this wasn't the only thing he sent in. John also sent in 2 copies of his super handy large format photography logbook. These are actually available to purchase on his website. I'm going to put a link in the description below. This is just a great little soft cover handbook for taking extensive notes about your large format photographic process. So, you know, date, location, and all the different specs on the shot. So aperture, shutter speed, ISO, exposure compensation, filter factor, all the main things that'll get in the way. So if you're new to large format, this is a great way to take those good notes and figure out what went right or what went wrong when you made that picture. So I've got 2 of these. I'm probably not going to use both of them, so one of these is going in the giveaway pile. Next time we're doing a large format Friday giveaway, stay tuned for that. This is going to be in there with whatever camera or supplies get given away. Speaking of the UK, another package landed on my lap, and this time from a pretty familiar name. Let's take a look inside this big old box here. Oh. Okay, looks like we've got a little envelope. Ooh, a very nice custom machined Copal 3 Cinar sized lens board. Okay. Oh my goodness. What is this? All right, we gotta open this up. Oh, it's just a tiny little Intrepid 8x10. But not just any Intrepid 8x10. This doesn't look like the Mark II. Looks like it might be a Gen 3. Ooh, it's even got a Fresnel. Fancy. All right, that's all we have time today for. If you have any questions about the large format photographic process, be sure to drop those down below in the comments. For those long form questions, you can always hit me up, largeformatquestions@gmail.com. Thanks again for stopping by. Get subscribed if you want to see more stuff about this Intrepid 8x10. I plan on testing this extensively and reporting back to the channel in a full review. But for now, I got to practice with this bad boy. We'll catch you next time.